Justice that is out of business
Jojo
now.
Siwa?
Girl, what? Hey, I'm your host Alexis.
And I'm your co-host Truk.
Sit back and relax because you're
in good company.
Hey guys, so in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about a lack of individuality, microtrends, and their harm. So Truk actually came up with this idea for this week's episode, which is so fun.
Hi.
Do you want to tell people why you want to talk about this?
So I've been seeing a lot of discourse on how we are constantly moving from trend to trend, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a thing. We've brought it up on our podcast multiple times, but recently I've been hearing how, hey, let's actually look deeper into why we're going through so many micro trends and like what are the effects of having this rapid rush through every single week of different trends onto how we interact with the world and our society, and like basically just capitalism, babe.
Yeah, no, girl, that's so real. Okay, let me say this much.
Mm-hmm.
When you presented this topic, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. And then I saw a TikTok that touched on this, which was really interesting. And this girl had on this outfit, and somebody was like, oh my gosh, like, what would you call this style? And
Like,
she was
how would you search this up?
She said, I would call it me. It's just how I dress. And I think that really, I guess it puts in perspective how people are so hyperfixated on putting every type of style and niche into a certain category so that then they can search it via this category and really immerse themselves in whatever the style is. And I think to an extent it's like, oh, you know, that's helpful. So, you know, exactly. You put a name to it. But I've seen people be like fighting over what they would consider someone's style. That's fairycore. No, that's grunge. No, that's, I don't even know all the different ones. That's, you know, giving the more popular right now is Office Siren, which people are going crazy for.
Which honestly, even now, I think Office Siren has gone out.
And people were saying that, you know, when people, like, we were making fun of millennials for, like, going to the club.
In business casual.
And then, like, people, I guess, kind of romanticize the Office Siren. They're like, is that not the same thing? Are we not?
It's so funny because I saw some fashion videos breaking it down, and they're like, Office Siren is not even appropriate for the office.
Yeah.
It's really short skirts, really sheer blouses, and, you know, obviously it's not for the office, but it's a romanticization of it.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know how people sexualize Halloween costumes? They'll be like, oh, that's a sexy nurse costume.
Yeah.
That's almost like that's the Office Siren. It's like
very
sexualizing
similar.
Yourself in a workplace.
And
I'm like, this is interesting.
Welcome to like micro trends.
No,
Should
truly.
we define what micro trends
Oh my goodness,
are?
yes, let's define it. And for anyone who is unaware.
Right. So micro trends definitely became a term that's more widely used with the rise of TikToks because essentially micro trends are just a simple piece, a simple aesthetic, a core essentially that is popular for a week or two and you move on. It's called micro because it's viral for like 1 or 2 weeks, and
I would argue sometimes it lasts up to a month.
It can.
It can be longer, but I think it starts to fade out. Like something new
for sure.
comes in and grabs
it's the
attention.
Immediate virality of it, and then just the plateau after. I think that kind of graph makes sense on how to describe microtrends.
Heavy on that. And Truk, I would say you've basically nailed down the definition of what I feel like a microtrend is, so I don't have a lot to say on that, but I do want to know, have you ever participated in a microtrend, or has one caught your eye and been like, even added it to your closet permanently and be like, I actually really like this?
Oh my goodness. So the answer would be yes. I can't be on the internet and not participate in these things, right? It's just the community and the environment that I'm in. Though recently I have been a little bit more aware of my clothes, so I haven't bought as much. I'm trying to remember the last micro trend piece I bought, but
I feel like I can tell you because I was really trying to think, and I realized I don't know if this is the last micro trend item I bought, but I do know back in my senior year of high school, I bought cow print jeans. Like,
oh my goodness.
And a top as well, because I just thought, because I don't know why that was in, but it was.
Oh, it was super in.
I wore those pants. They fit great. They're comfortable. I wore them less than 5 times, and I haven't touched them since because it feels like now it feels like a costume item. I'm like,
Mhm.
where am I supposed to wear cow pants? And I could still eat it up. I'll probably wear them
Oh,
just
I
to prove
believe
a
it.
point. But yeah, I feel like I just pulled that out my
Oh,
mind.
you know what is a micro trend that I bought that I don't really wear? You know that belt? People have argued that this belt has become a classic staple though, but that black belt with the rings, studs, and it's like wrapped around the entire belt.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I'll add an image
Yeah.
on our podcast episode, but it was a micro trend that I bought into because I was into that style at the time.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not the style that reflects on me now, so it kind of just sits there.
Can I say, I think I'm definitely very susceptible to microtrends, no doubt. But I find that I usually don't go out and buy the pieces per se, because ever since I stopped trying to shop fast fashion, you can't really get microtrend pieces.
Yeah,
I don't shop
having
fast
on
fashion
that.
anymore, so I'm not getting these pieces, which I think has actually probably helped my wardrobe, because now I'm just getting pieces I genuinely like.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I'm way more susceptible to, I get hyper fixated on a show or like a character, and then I want to dress like them. Not even celebrities. I want to dress like a character from a show, because I suppose I really like their style, or I just really like the character, and dressing similar to them makes me feel, I don't know the best way to put it, but I guess it makes me feel cooler for the time being. And I'm like, oh, this is so fun. So I've done that before. Well, I will spend money on pieces that I never touch again just because I wanted to resemble a character that I liked.
Okay, wait. I want to build upon that because I
Okay.
was recently watching a Netflix show and I was looking at how this character dressed herself, and I was like, she is so cool. She is so hot.
Which
I want to
Netflix show
look
was
like
it?
that. Never Have I Ever?
Never have I ever. Okay, wait, which character?
Freak.
Is
I
it
think
the
it was
main?
Amina.
Okay. I yeah.
She's sporty. Like, this is not my aesthetic at all, but she's sporty. She wears oversized things. Like, she's a soccer gal.
Yeah.
And I really loved her vest and the colors and everything.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, she's so cool. But I don't spend my money like that. So the most that I've done is just like really hyperfixate on, like, every time she comes up on screen, I'm like, oh my God, her outfits are so cool. But that's the most that I've done. I just think, like, I only bring this up to say same.
Yeah. No, because I remember distinctly I was really hyperfixated on Star vs. the Forces of Evil.
Oh,
Why
which
in
character?
the world? Huh?
Which character?
Okay, the character that I wanted to dress like was Marco. So I literally got the red sweater. I was hyperfixated. I had to have it. I probably wore it once in middle school, and I did not touch that sweater again.
Oh, no.
I know. And then I remember at another point when I was watching Banana Fish, I was really hyperfixated on
On
Ash.
the red Converses.
Yes, and then I ordered myself the red Converses.
Also,
honestly,
her name was
a staple
Anissa.
because.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Her name is Anissa, not Amina.
Oh, girl,
I
you're
effed
fine.
up.
Okay, that's what I'm like. She sounds familiar, but
Yeah, her name is Anissa.
yeah. No, but I was hyperfixated on Ash, and I just had to have those red Converses. Like, the first day of college, I dressed similar to him. I did the jeans, the top, like the plaid around the waist, and like the red Converses, just because I was like, I feel so cool right now. But yeah, that's where you're gonna catch me. You're gonna catch me dressing like characters I really admire. I get hyperfixated on characters rather than just like celebrities, and feel the need to replicate how they look.
Why do you think why do you think you're more focused on the character than the celebrity? Like, do you think imitating the character allows you to kind of like get away into their coolness?
Okay, here's the thing. I think I just get more invested in a character's journey and story. And I love, because when I read a book or watch a show, I like feeling like I can tap into that world a bit, and dressing similar to the characters allows me that. When I read The Maze Runner and I watched the movie, they are called gliders, y'all. And I tried to dress like one to the best of my abilities, because I just wanted to be immersed in that world as much as, I think that's why I like cosplay. I just like to be immersed into whatever world I'm hyper fixated on, and dressing similar to characters, especially if they have a style I really like, then I can incorporate pieces into my wardrobe that remind me of someone I like, character wise,
Mm-hmm.
and also just have like a piece that I really enjoy in my closet. I wouldn't have necessarily gotten
without that inspiration.
I wanted red Converses for a while, but I didn't feel like that push to really just get them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, no, now I feel like I have a reason to get them, and so forth and so on.
You know, this is an interesting thing that you brought up about how you want to be immersed in that story, in that journey, because I've been seeing a lot of like conversation on TikTok in regards to micro trend, that people participate in these trends, in these fashion movements, because it's a signal to other people that they're within the same community that they dress for.
Yo, that's actually
right?
Yeah, that's a great point.
And like, not everybody would get the red Converses, but if you run into other Banana Fish fans, you would get the red Converses.
Or because I recreated one of his outfits within stuff from my own closet. So it's like, it's almost like you're.
It's like a if you know, you know.
Yeah, and it's fun because you feel like you're a part of a community, and I do really want to expand on what you said.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an amazing point. When your outward appearance reflects whatever community you either want to be a part of or you are a part of, those people gravitate towards you. Because I love the earthy black girl aesthetic. Like, I love it. I want to be friends with all the cool earthy black girls. So I found that I was trying to emulate and dress similar in the vibe and style because I wanted to befriend people who had this similar style. And I also just thought it was really flattering on so many girls. I'm like, also, every girl I saw who wore it was super pretty. And I'm like, well, if I wear this style, will I be perceived as even prettier? Because, like...
Girl, when I first met you, you kind of did, like, go into the, like, earthy black girl aesthetic. Really? And I was like, she's so cool.
Thank you. You know what's
it was
really
like,
wild,
it was a draw towards you.
That was unintentional when we met. I was not trying to tap into that, which makes me feel better. That means I kind of naturally did.
Right. You kind of just slowly incorporated into your, you know, self presentation.
Yeah, no, heavy on that. And I do feel that with black people, because we're always changing our hair, you change your hair and you kind of tap into a different style. I know when I have like my hair like this and I have certain braids, I feel more inclined to certain looks. When my hair was straight and it was like, and I also had it dyed and it was curled, I felt like I was wearing more greens and browns and like just earthy tones. I don't know why. I just felt like drawn towards it because of how my hair looked. And I think that's fun. I think if you know you're in the community, you just get it how certain looks, or even if you cut your hair and you dye, you're like, okay, this style actually suits me a lot. And it's just fun.
I mean, on a more like non-textured hair side, I know that I've seen some people share how whenever they dye their hair a fun color, I remember seeing this like YouTuber sharing her journey from when she had blue hair to pink hair, and she was like, I had to redo my whole wardrobe because it was such a drastic shift, and it really does affect, you know, how you present yourself
and even how people perceive you.
Yeah.
So I just always think that is so interesting. But definitely, I do think at times, if you want to be perceived a certain way or draw a certain community towards you, you're going to dress a certain way. Because like people who have like a grunge aesthetic, which sometimes I just tap into certain things. So sometimes I have a grungier aesthetic and I really want to do the dark makeup and the eyeliner.
It's like you pull from the aspects, you pull like details from them.
But okay, also I've heard people talk about how I think it was really like pump rock and like grunge specifically, how these certain aesthetics come with a lifestyle that people aren't living the life, but they're dressing like it. So it's a bit weird. I've even seen people talk about certain things are associated with the queer community, but then people who aren't queer will then tap into these different like this is some like the different singles, like certain piercings or certain like certain like traits or just certain pieces of clothing used to be a single to other people. Okay, I know you're a part of my community, but now that they're becoming more mainstream, it's frustration of like we can't tell who's who.
Yeah, it's very similar to like this point that you brought up last week or last episode, how we're kind of just pulling from surface levels of different cultures
without knowing like
the in-depth history behind it.
Because expand.
Because like for example, like the whole grunge pop rock thing that you just brought up, I've definitely heard conversation about that too, and there's a lot of frustration for people who are in that community to see quote unquote posers,
Be
essentially.
Like, yeah, like,
because they're like, oh, we're gonna have the same ideologies, we're gonna have the same values. They come up and there's a disconnect, because for them, for the posers, it's just an aesthetic,
right,
compared to, you know, their beliefs, their lifestyle, a reflection of their self.
Yeah, I do think there's nuance to that topic, because I understand the people who just really, really like a certain look.
For sure.
And I understand how people are frustrated because his look used to mean something more.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of being watered down. And they just want that to be brought back. It's always so interesting, because I know punk rock was like, you know, standing up for other communities or this and that.
Yeah.
And then if you have some suburban girl who's just like, I just want to be different, I just want to switch things up, and she's on the opposite side of views wise, he'd be like, why are you dressing like this? What do you have to do with this? You're just like, I just think it's cute, like I don't really care. And I just think,
like, you can be really surface level with fashion, or you can be really deep with fashion, and everybody, you know, has a different degree of their interactions and their take on fashion. So I think both sides have a perspective, and it's just like, what perspective do you want to move forward with?
I will say, for me, style and the way people carry themselves and how they dress is huge. Like, I will judge you based off your style. Sorry, I'm letting you know right here and right now. Depending, because I think it reflects how you carry yourself in a sense. For me, I just personally, I put a lot of thought usually into what I'm wearing. Not always, but I like to put thought into what I'm wearing or how I'm being perceived, and I like taking photos of my outfits, and I like my friends to be like, oh, I like how you did that, and that's super cute. I love accessorizing. My one friend said, girl, you have to make a basic fit look interesting because you just accessorize. I'm like, thank you, that's so sweet. But I do think that it's fun to me, right? So I understand some people are not as invested, and they're just like, I'm just throwing it on, and I understand that. But I do think it's always really fun when I guess befriend somebody, or I come across somebody who cares as deeply as I do, because it's like we're already bonding over something. And I'm like, I like seeing people's style and how they express themselves, and it's always interesting because I think in certain areas people are more expressive with their style, and then you kind of get shamed if you're dressing more plain, or you kind of just feel bad, maybe not shamed, because I know people be like, girl, if you're going to Japan, better have that closet right, because maybe the street style is unmatched. Even like you go around New York, I think to an extent it depends where you are in New York, because I think some people just dress plain and that's not showcased as much.
Right.
But can you imagine if you were in a certain state where people were not into like overdressing, maybe like a more conservative state, if you had like a really expressive style, you might be judged for it if you had your hair dyed or a lot of piercings, but then somewhere else it's completely normal. Like
like the whole micro mini skirts. Like, you can go to the city, people will clap. But if you are like in a very, you know, isolated town, girl,
you're
people,
getting shamed. You're getting judged. Like, even with like tattoos or like,
tattoos.
People talk about how, wow, when I went to this conservative state, I was judged for how I looked just because of my tattoos. And then people of color were like, wow, wonder what that's like. No, what I do think there is a merit to everything that people are saying, because I suppose I just don't want to go somewhere where I would be judged like that for the way I dress. But sometimes you kind of have to assimilate just to like make do and kind of dress down just to, you know, okay, I'm just trying to get my way out of here.
There's definitely,
and not draw attention.
There's power to how you dress.
Heavy on that.
Like, the way that you present yourself definitely affects how other views you. And your accessibility to certain clothing items will like push you in certain directions.
Because can we talk about how I do feel like thrift stores were a way for people to kind of tap into certain trends or just a unique sense of style that they couldn't afford. And now those are getting more expensive, or more people are going to them, you know, and now it's kind of like cool to thrift, but it wasn't always cool to thrift. You know, people were like, ew, used clothes, this and that. And I just think that, you know, there's certain tops, or like there's certain styles that I really like and I would love to tap into and wear, but I just refuse to pay $40 for sure. Or I refuse, like, sometimes I'll treat myself and I'm like, this is a piece I'm investing in, you know. But a lot of the times I just would rather, I feel like I don't have the exact style that I want because I refuse to pay the amount of money that people are paying to achieve it. I will say, I think sometimes I envy that people can buy these super cute tops because money is not as big as a factor, or there's influencers and they get scent free stuff, or they just get a really good thrift haul. But I will say there is fun in, you know, I thrift basically my entire wardrobe and feeling like, oh, this is a unique piece. But it's like, yeah, someone else probably has it, but no one I'm around.
Yeah.
Like, no one else I'm around has this piece. And I say even basic outfits, if you accessorize them and you do your hair and you do fun accessories, they elevate. Like, you can elevate them. Even like if you or some people like write on their shoes or draw on their shoes or get like fun shoes.
Oh, that's super cute. I've seen that. There has been definitely during the pandemic, I saw a rise on like custom shoes where they would paint on anime guys on their shoes.
Or like even like shoe charms, or like I just like things that reflect I have my own sense of style, I have my own sense of self, and I'm reflecting that through something I'm wearing.
Oh, wait, there is a topic that I do want to touch upon.
Okay, go
Do you think your style is your style or just like a materialization of your algorithm?
Ooh.
Because your algorithm shows you what you like. So obviously you do like it.
Yeah.
But your algorithm does also feed you these trends within the sub communities that you subscribe to. So sometimes I question, do I even like this piece or is it just popular right now?
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say I actually think my style is my own because my For You page is the style that I can't afford. Okay, because like a lot of the pieces I see in my For You page are pieces that I want to invest in and want to buy and just haven't done. They don't really reflect what's actually in my closet. So I do feel like if I had the means to, I would go out of my way to buy these pieces. But with, I suppose, my current closet, and the way I mix and match pieces, I do think it's a reflection of my personal taste, but also your taste grows. So like sometimes I just have to get rid of stuff and I just have to give it away. And other times I have a piece and I don't know how to style it. And I'll keep it in my closet for a year. And I'm like, I love this piece. I do not know how to style it. And then it'll come together and I'll get the right bottoms or the right accessory. And it's just like, I love when this happens.
Yes, heavy on just like holding on to that one piece, and one day it just really sparks that outfit
heavy
together.
On that. Like, do you remember, I'm giving a little back, the outfit I wore with like the turquoise like sweater?
Oh, yes.
I had that top for ages and I couldn't figure out how to style it, and I got that belt and it all came together, and
yes,
it just
your brown fit, right? With the teal. Oh, that was such a cute outfit too. We made a TikTok with that outfit, so you guys can go through our Instagram and see it.
We did. No, as I was saying, I do feel like my closet is a reflection of my style, but of course if I had more money, my style would look a little different, So what about you, Truk?
Honestly, I also believe that my style is of my own. When I was first exploring fashion in 2020, because I know that was when I started exploring.
I definitely started exploring during the pandemic, like 2020, 2021, because I grew up wearing uniforms. So I didn't really, my style was god awful. Like, don't even think about high school me because it sucked.
I grew up wearing whatever my mom bought, and I never looked into things of my own because obviously it was not my money to spend.
Right.
So when I started making money and all of that things I started making money in 2021, but I started exploring in 2020. I definitely bought into the micro trends and all of that because I didn't know what I was doing.
I think I did too.
Yeah, and I think that's normal because it's a starting point. But now I don't think I really follow micro trends, mainly because I do hold back with my money sometimes. So it's like it doesn't, I don't like, oh my god, this is so cute, da 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 da, and buy it.
I don't think I bought any microtrend related item. I think sometimes, I know back in high school, pearl necklaces were super in. Like Visco Girl.
Yeah.
Like Visco Girl I hated the Visco Girl aesthetic. I could not understand why people were wearing oversized t-shirts and it looked like they didn't have any bottoms on. But it was really only white girls wearing that. I'm not gonna lie. I never saw a person of color wearing a Visco aesthetic. No, respectfully, I just never saw it.
Yeah.
And I will say I did buy into, I just really wanted like a cute pearl necklace, and it didn't look exactly like the trends, but I bought it because of that. Like, it was
because you were exposed to it so often.
Yeah. It was everywhere. That was like, I was 15 turning 16 when that, so that was like, I don't remember, that was like 2019 maybe-ish. And I was just like, so I have done it before. Those cow print pants I got, different items. I would say even like certain belt styles were really popular that now I'm like don't really identify with, but like it's a belt. But now I like more like, I guess, unique looking belts. So I think I agree with you that it is a jumping off point, and I was definitely just getting stuff that I thought was cute to try and figure out what exactly my style was, because I didn't know.
Yeah, and I think that's completely valid, because really, if you were a person starting out, you would have to just basically pick an aesthetic and kind of go from there. See how you feel wearing it out. See how you feel, you know, do you feel confident wearing it, and all of that. It's a journey. It's fun.
And I'm quite happy that by the time I met a lot of my college friends, I had a pretty good idea what my style was, because now I'm revered for it. But it wasn't always that way. My high school friends will know I was wearing mom jeans. I don't have a problem with mom jeans. I still wear mom jeans, but I was like, I desperately wanted to fit a pair of skinny jeans, and now you will not catch me in skinny jeans for real. Also, I know I was wearing joggers all the time.
Okay.
Respectfully, joggers are ugly. Like,
I'm like,
joggers
okay.
are ugly. But like literally, I was really only not in my uniform 2 days a week, and I just wanted to be comfortable. I didn't care as much.
Right.
But yeah, anyone who's wearing joggers, love y'all. But I had to move past that era of my life.
No, you're fine. It's really the whole athleisure community.
Well, listen, y'all can make it look cute. Like, I think that the tennis girlies have really cute fits. The golf girlies have really cute fits. Like, I think it's I like it, but also
it's just not what
that's not
you
my
want to
style.
wear.
Yeah. Okay. So, True, I have to ask, do you think the people that you're around have an influence on your style?
Oh, for sure. I've definitely taken style inspiration from you.
Why, thank you.
Guys, this shirt that I'm wearing right now is from Alexis's closet.
Yeah, so cute.
But most definitely, for sure. I think a bigger influence on my style, though, is what I see online. I tend to follow creators that look like me, and it kind of just like grows from there.
Yeah, heavy on that.
So yeah, that was where my style inspiration comes from. I like, friends do affect it, but not as much.
Well, I don't know all your friends, but I do feel like unless a friend has a style that you like, I don't really think their style would influence my own. Because it'd be like, that's their own style. I don't really necessarily want to dress that way, but I like it on them. But I also know, for me, I remember, mind you, uniforms in high school, so no one's style was really affecting mine, but we would have free dress down days in middle school, and Justice that is out of business
Jojo
now.
Siwa?
Girl, what?
Isn't that what Justice is? Oh wait, never mind.
Justice is a store.
Girl, I did not participate in this.
Which is a really popular store brand that is not a thing anymore. Overpriced, very kid-like clothes that I thought was like the coolest
stuff.
thing.
Right?
Not even. I'm gonna show you some stuff. And also Pink. Like, Pink by Victoria's Secret. I like, all the kids were wearing that, so I wanted to wear that just because that's what my classmates were wearing. It wasn't even like it was super cute per se, but I was like gaslit into thinking that it was just the cutest thing ever. So I think that was heavy in like middle school for me.
Oh my goodness, like these?
Yes, girl, that was Justice. Like, very kid-like clothes.
Truly. Very Disney.
Yes.
Very
like
Disney.
Queen, I remember, okay, can I say?
Yeah.
I used to be obsessed when Target would do, back in the good days, Target used to do like, I don't even know, they would almost like pair up with like different Disney shows. So they had a Shake It Up brand, and I got like a piece from the Shake It Up brand, and it was like just like basically clothes like your favorite celeb on TV, and maybe that's when I started wanting to dress like people I watched on TV. But they did it for Shake It Up, they did it for the Annie movie with the black girl, and it was just fun. Like, they don't do that anymore, but they used to have inspired clothes from TV shows at like Kohl's or like different stores like that, and it was like a whole section. Even American Girl doll, you could get a outfit just like your doll, and I think different things like that was my inspiration as a kid, because I wasn't on the internet. So it literally was the people around me and the places that I was going to, rather than, oh, what's on the internet. I didn't have access to TikTok in middle school, and I didn't even download TikTok until I was, I think, going into my junior year of high school.
Same-ish.
And I did it as a
in high
joke.
school.
Me and my friend downloaded it as a joke.
Oh my gosh, me too. I downloaded it ironically.
And when I first got it, it was literally just like people dancing. There was no like trends being pushed my way. So it's so interesting to see how things have changed, because I promise you, no girly pop is wearing justice right now and not getting flamed for it. Now, like, kids who dress kid-like in certain environments will get flamed for it.
Oh, for sure. Because
and that was
like,
not a thing when I was growing up. And I'm not that old, and it freaks me out that things have shifted so much. But yeah.
I think the vehicle that we use to push trends, which is the internet, is an incredibly fast-paced thing, and that's why it's changed so much in so little time.
Yeah, and I think that's why, probably a reason why microtrends have become so prevalent. And I was basically briefly explaining the truth that my theory was that, as we were talking about, people wanted sense of community, and I do see people of color participate in microtrends, but I also see a lot of white people being the face of microtrends, and I don't know if they just are getting paid, or like brands think that they're going to sell more clothes, or if they just participated in it more. But my theory is that because white people really want like a sense of community, microtrends are a way to tap into that and feel connected to others.
Yeah.
Like,
you know how
like a shared sense of background.
Yeah, like earlier how we were talking about how clothes can be a signal for other people to be to like notify them that you're in the group. Yeah, participating in microtrends is literally just that, like being like, oh, I'm with you guys. Certain
groups of people, like certain races, already have like certain clothing pieces that are integral to our culture. So it's not like a virtual single, because we already dress that way. Like, I'm thinking of like early African American culture in America, and it was really like the R&B scene was heavily like the do-rags. People were wearing do-rags unironically for what? I do not know. Like the baggy jeans, like the wearing like I'm trying to think, like a jersey,
a name,
like
a name
the chains,
chain,
the jerseys. That was all popularized by Black culture and kind of pushed forward by Black culture. And I will say, it does piss me off when I just see people wearing do-rags just to like as like an accessory, when it was like, this is to protect our hair, and you're just wearing it because you think it makes you look like a certain vibe or a certain aesthetic. But you can't stop people from doing that. They're gonna do it anyway. But it's always very interesting because I don't know, I just also think in other cultures, I'm not necessarily seeing microtrends become really popular across this, like in different places but I do see like just people's culture in general is so overarchingly popular that becomes popular in other places. Like, I'm just thinking of specifically how people be like, if you go to Japan, expect to see people in cornrows, expect to see people in do-rags, expect to see people with like grills or chains and all that. And it's not like, they're not saying you're gonna see people in ballet corps, you're gonna see people in siren office, but it's like it's so encompassing that this whole like group of people are that influential that it's seen in other places. And I think that's interesting. And those are I almost feel like sometimes white people want something that is that encompassing, but it's like your beauty
that impactful,
like your beauty standards already are. So like you already have something that's really encompassing. I'm confused. But that's just my theory. That's just my ramble.
No, but you ate that up.
Right, thank you. How would you identify your own personal style? Like, if you had to, like, which pieces, how do you identify your own personal style in the sense that, like, which pieces do you see yourself gravitating towards? And how would you just, like, identify, like, what you wear?
So a lot of people view styles as in, like, aesthetics and cores. Right. I kind of feel like my perception of style is an overarching theme, because I can participate in a bunch of different aesthetics, but me as myself and my style has a theme that runs through all of these aesthetics. I feel like I go towards like clean, sleeker looks.
Okay, no, I get what you're saying, and I agree.
Yeah, like I can participate in a grungy aesthetic, but my personal style has a sleek take on the grungy aesthetic.
From what I've observed, you accessorize. You like ear accessories.
Yes,
like,
I do.
You probably have like a fun ear accessory. You don't really layer necklaces.
I don't. I usually have like a main piece.
Yeah, you have like a main statement piece.
And then I have my rings. I'm not a big bracelet girly.
No, you do not really wear bracelets. I will say that even when you are dressing in a certain vibe, it's usually like a more plain top.
Yeah, very minimalist.
Like accessorizing, more plain jeans. You know, it's not basic because you do it up, but when I think of the base of your closet, you probably have a lot of pieces you can build on. Yeah, they're not like super over decorated.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my style is like minimalist
Yeah.
that you can accessorize
And at
with.
one point you were wearing bows.
I did have a bow phase, but that
Yeah.
was definitely a micro trend era.
LOL. And I will say for myself, it's harder to pinpoint because I go based off even seasons. Like certain October, I'm wearing purple, I'm wearing orange, I'm wearing like maybe reds, I'm wearing blacks, and I'm wearing like certain
I feel like
pieces.
your general like consistent like element is like warm tones. You're very warm. Even if you
Yeah.
do wear cool tones like that teal outfit, the brown still adds a sense of depth and warmth to your outfit.
Because I know at one point I was wearing black a lot, and then I just got sick of black. I was just tired of wearing it, and I just always think that's very interesting. I will say it's harder for me to pinpoint because I think I just kind of tap into different niches when I feel like it, and I like having options because I feel if I was restricted to like all my clothes look in a certain way, I'd be like, this is so boring to me. But it also depends on the person. Like different people like different vibes and different aesthetics, and it's also perception of how you're perceived is always interesting. Because I do know I didn't feel like I had like a super distinct style, but even back in high school, one girl was like, "Girl, you dress so Californian like," and I'm like, "What the shuck does that mean?"
The joggers?
Mind you, no. It was mom jeans and a long sleeve top and Converses.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's don't act like I'm different, please. Mind you, it's all about where you're around and who you're with. And as we wrap up, I just want to say that, you know, at the end of the day, your personal style is your own. And comment down below, what are some different, I guess, trend styles y'all have seen? But also, how do you define your own personal style?
Oh, yeah.
And what does it mean to you? Like, are you super into it? Or you're just like, I could care less, I'm throwing on a sweatshirt and I'm going to class?
Which is fine too.
Everyone.
You don't have to be so fashion forward.
Is valid. Everybody has something that they're more interested in over something else. You know,
right? And fashion just happens to be an interest of ours.
It truly does. But yes, as we wrap up, I'm doing my song rec of the day. Normani's album dropped not too long ago, and I've been listening to a few different songs off of it. So I'm gonna recommend not one but two today that I feel like need to have a shout out, and that includes Still. And last but not least, Tantrums featuring Jake's Blake. Very catchy. Y'all, if you haven't listened, go listen. And I also want to mention, and I hope you look it up, guys, just look up Project 2025 if you're not aware. I think it's really important to be in the know on what's going on, especially if you are within the age that you can vote, y'all. If you haven't been staying up to date, you know, go watch the debate back. Go see the different rules they're passing because it's getting scary out here, and I think we need to stay informed.
Heavy on that because I've been hearing discussions about the Project 2025 since last year.
Yeah, and
so it's been a thing that's like slowly.
When I first heard it, I said, "Okay, that sounds promising. What's that?" And then I said, "Oh dear,
you look closer into it, and you're like,
before knowing anything about it, I said that doesn't sound too bad." And then I said, "Oh, okay, got it. We're screwed."
Yeah. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a dark twist.
Sorry, guys. I mean, it's reality.
It's like life check. What?
Literally.
Reality check. What am I saying?
Okay, but True, what is your TikTok of the week?
I mean, my TikTok of the week is related to this week's episode about fashion and whatnot. Essentially, this girl was sharing how people came up to her and told her, "Wow, you dress like very 2020. Like your fashion is so pandemic."
What was she wearing?
She was wearing the black and white striped top with an oversized shirt on top. And she had a lot of like colorful accessories.
I know exactly what I'm thinking about.
Yes. And like her response in that TikTok video was, yeah, because I like that, and it has become my personal style, and I've incorporated it in my daily life.
And I will say,
no,
finish your thought. And then
I was just gonna say, like, that was where I got the idea that like you can jumpstart from an aesthetic and build your sense of style from there. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think in certain spaces, fashion is currency, unfortunately, and you are judged for what you wear.
Oh yes,
like
fashion is currency. Yeah,
like, I hear people talk about, you know, people who go to fashion school say you just feel like you're always being judged for what you're wearing, or you have to be, you know, you always have to up yourself, you have to outdo yourself, and everyone's kind of judging each other, and I think that takes away the art of self-expression that fashion is able to give you. So, I mean...
but even then, talking about, like, fashion and self-expression, right, you can dress in a certain way that kind of, like, is a symbol of your
Status?
wealth, your status,
heavy
and
on
all
that,
that.
like this Southern belle aesthetic. And I saw people talking about how specifically Black people shouldn't dress like that because it gives slave vibes and this and that. And it was like, well, dang. That's aesthetic that, you know, you get judged for dressing in, because if you want to, or even like Black girls who wear lots of pinks or have a softer aesthetic can be ridiculed for it because they say it doesn't fit your vibe. Because I guess you think about it, popularization looks within the Black community has been more like hip-hop-esque looking clothes. So unfortunately, sometimes you get judged within your community if you don't dress the norm within your community. But I think that's all about finding people who do fit your aesthetic. But if you live like in a small town, it can be difficult. I get why people want to like just branch out.
Of course.
But yeah, I think that's our wrap up for the day. Little thought to leave you with, a little nugget.
Fashionable thing.
But I want to say shout out to Bobby.
Woo!
And shout out to the Humanities Department. We will see you next week, and hope you enjoyed this episode.
Bye.
Guys, check out our Spotify if you haven't. I almost forgot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
check out our Spotify. Bye.